Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and so I've actually heard that Deathbattle was going to do a Superman versus Optimus Prime. Now again, this is kind of the same way as my Deathbattle Prelude with Hulk versus Godzilla. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt and just wanting to talk about it here because again, it is still something Transformers related and it is Transformers content nevertheless. The same way that this battle right here was basically Godzilla content. So with that being said here, let's actually talk about it. And we're going to do the same thing we did for Godzilla vs. Hulk. We're going to be talking about the way Deathbattle treats both characters and how they pretty much present both characters here. And I guess you could say DC characters in general and Transformer characters in general, because again, both of these guys really don't have a lot to really go on here. So let's really just talk about Superman. And the only thing we really have to gauge him off of is Goku versus Superman, both rounds 1 through 3. Till this very day, I would never know why they made 3 Goku versus Superman. I guess because they wanted just to do Xeno Goku to kind of just be like, here, you guys have it, right? Now, again, I am not a DC scaler. If you guys want, you guys can go to channels like Dr. Splash or Luminos to actually, get a good DC scale here. And for those of you who think DC is like 6-dimensional, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to, turn in y'all resignations like ASAP here, because again, I know how a lot of Dragon Ball fans actually use this now because apparently it's been debunked that DC is only 6D, despite the sheer fact that there are statements for it to be multi-dimensional. Yeah, it has infinite dimensions and infinite dimensional layers to it. Kind of crazy considering the sheer fact that a lot of the Dragon Ball community has to use Xeno Goku or Superheroes Goku to get him to Universal. Crazy, ain't it? But anyway, here Superman is easily an out-of-verse entity. He's been able to do the following things: knock out Barbados, fight against Infinite Frontier Darkseid, has been able to harm characters like Superboy Prime on multiple occasions here, and has even knocked out the World Forger. Crazy how he has all these out-of-versal feats, but yet somehow he's a 6-dimensional entity. Wow, so very crazy, ain't it? Now, in terms of his speed, he's easily faster than light, 2 immeasurable levels of speed here, and pretty much just has everyone's dream powers: heat vision, cold breath, he has super hearing, super senses in general here, okay? And again, he is generally considered and generally seen as one of the most powerful entities in the DC universe here. Stronger than Wonder Woman, who's stronger than Martian Manhunter. All these characters are actually scaled right back to Superman, who again is one of the major power scaling points for the entire verse here. Considering the sheer fact he's able to fight against beings that are able to destroy entire multiverses here. The sheer fact that DC has many statements of being infinite dimensions or infinite dimensional layers, showing the sheer fact that DC again operates on a high hyperversal to even outerversal level cosmology. Very, very crazy, ain't it? I guess, 6D is only where it caps, right? Because of one statement from somebody that's on a lower tier in the multiverse, right? I know it's absolutely insane how people actually try to lowball a franchise without trying to even, I guess you could say read the franchise itself here. But hey, that's neither here or there. Now, how does Deathbattle really treat Superman, right? No, they kind of give him the golden child treatment, like anybody would. His feats are legit, but again, there are times where they downplay him here, like again in Goku vs. Superman 3, where they actually try to lowball his speed to try to have him equal with Goku in the third one here. And then they do the same thing with Goku in the first one, where they try to have base Goku speed equal to Super Saiyan 4 level speed, which again is pretty ridiculous here. Just say they're both faster than light to immeasurable levels of speed here, and then you kind of just have a equal argument in that department. Do I think Goku is as fast as Superman? No, not really. Superman just has way more speed feats than Goku does, so it's just he's got more quantifiable and more, I guess you could say more on-showing speed feats here. I do think Goku and him are probably equal in combat speed, but in terms of like raw speed in general, no, I do think Superman is flat out faster than Goku. Now, when it comes to how they treat other characters here on Deathbattle, it's kind of weird here. Green Lantern was able to beat Ben 10, something even I don't agree about, because again, it's kind of weird how in a death battle, Alien X just didn't erase him instantly. He just erased him all slow and stuff here. Then there was Reverse Flash versus Goku Black here, and well, Reverse Flash won that one, which was pretty interesting here. Even though I don't think the time travel mechanic would work on Goku Black here, considering the sheer fact that Goku Black knows nothing, Reverse Flash knows nothing about Goku Black in order to go back in time and kill him in the past, you know? Black Adam lost to Apocalypse, and that was pretty bad in my opinion. They lowballed the heck out of Black Adam just to give Apocalypse the win. But again, I do think if we, highballed or gave them both their actual stats here, I think Apocalypse wins eventually here. And then Wonder Woman versus Thor, that was complete lowball of Thor on that one. Let's just be kind of honest here. So DC characters kind of have a decent track record on Deathbattle here, so they actually do favor, DC a little bit. But then you have Optimus Prime. Now again, the Transformers obviously have not had the best history on Deathbattle here. Even in a debate format where someone's defending Transformers here, we even find out that they're willing to just let the public decide instead of judging it themselves here, which in all honesty, I'm going to have to say like it is here, is pretty pathetic here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch my Deathbattle review of Galvatron versus Silver Surfer, and you guys will understand what I mean. You can even go ahead and watch it for yourselves here. Now, Optimus Prime's last appearance after Optimus Prime versus Gundam was in Megatron versus Frieza, where they scaled Megatron to Optimus Prime throwing an oil tanker. Yeah, him just yeeting a whole oil tanker at Megatron is pretty much the only thing they really gave him here. Despite the sheer fact that Optimus has done many Universal to Outerversal level feats here in his pretty much both of his Marvel Classic G1 days and whatchamacallit, the IDW days as well. So in all honesty, it's actually pretty pathetic that Deathbattle even did that in the first place here. But again, it's not unexpected, It's how they do it here. Now you might say, do I think they treat Transformers fairly? And I'm going to have to say, in all honesty, no here. They honestly show they have no comprehension of how the cosmology works, how the beings works in the Transformers cosmology, and how these guys work on a conceptual level here. And in all honesty, it's not surprising. It's disappointing, but not surprising here, okay? So the sheer fact that the Transformers cosmology is infinite in size, infinite dimensional layers, due to the sheer fact that the Transformers run on quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics dives into the study of Hilbert space, and Hilbert space deals with infinite dimensional layers. And Transformers operates on that, right? You also have many of power-ups throughout the Transformers continuity. Amalgamous energy, Matrix energy, or Matrix boost here. You have certain relics like the Star Saber, the Enigma of Combination, various other objects like the Gold Power Alternium, or the Alternity boost and stuff like that there. You have so many characters and so many power-ups in this franchise that you have to be very specific on which Optimus Prime you use here. But considering the sheer fact that in the last one they did something with a Transformers character being Megatron versus Frieza, Megatron had his G1 comics, and then his IDW, or a little bit of IDW sprinkled on in there here. Which again is very, I guess you could say shady in a way here, because again, if it was just Megatron from G1 versus Frieza, nobody would have had a problem with it. However, when you start adding the comics and then you add IDW, something that is fluently read and scaled upon here, and you blatantly lowball it here, and even calling a Transformers universe inconsistent in its size, which is pretty dumb in on itself here, because even then the universes are always confirmed to be infinite, and each verse is confirmed to have the same multiverse or dimensional brand of makeup, which is infinite dimensional spaces here. But let's actually talk about something here real quick. And I know I kind of rambled on long enough, but the feature you actually see in front of you are Optimus Prime being able to one-tap the Deathbringer. Now, the Deathbringer here actually has a power equal to that of the Matrix, of leadership here. This has been stated multiple times here, both in the Hot Rod run or in the Transformers Regeneration 1 run and in the classic Marvel comics here. Now, Optimus Prime, again, one-tapped him. Like, just straight up pulled out his gun and just said, "Now we done here today." And keep in mind, there are characters that scale to Optimus, and then Optimus, is able to just ragdoll and eventually, beat them as well. Poor Rumbling Ravage here. I swear this is like one of the funniest panels I ever had to put on here. But considering the sheer fact he scales to the Matrix of leadership, both in physicality and attack potency here, the Matrix itself here is a singularity, meaning there's only one throughout the entire multiverse, or the omniverse, excuse me. Meaning that each Matrix pretty much applies to each other. The sheer fact the Matrixes are not only meant to counter Unicron, but are actually meant to nullify him here. And this is actually pretty important because this means that the Matrixes are also able to nullify the conceptual presence of Unicron itself, who himself, is a platonic concept here. So Unicron being the literal platonic concept of everything negative in the Transformers Omniverse here, meaning like he's evil, greed, famine, and stuff like that. They're basically the 7 deadly sins times 1,000,000. Basically, right? The sheer fact that Unicron was also able to stump the Anti-Matrix, which is able to threaten multiple realities at the same time here, it again goes to show you just how powerful just one variant of Optimus Prime is here. And again, that's just the Marvel Comics one. And keep in mind, if you really wanted to say this here, you can honestly say Unicron when he did have his time in Marvel, and if you want to say he was in the 616 verse, considering the sheer fact that Circuit Breaker was in Secret Wars here, meaning that again she would actually be in the 616 universe, and then the sheer fact that Unicron was able to literally consume everything in that universe here, you could literally say Unicron wiped out all of Marvel and no one could stop him. Yeah, that's just honestly how it is here. Then the sheer fact that Optimus can harm Unbased Starscream, with Unbased Starscream having the powers of every concept in existence here. And yet again, Optimus was able to harm this guy pretty casually as well here. And the sheer fact that it was confirmed that this thing pretty much held the concepts of everything in creation here. Starscream himself was able to not only withstand this, but actually be able to absorb this power long enough for him to get a lot of things done. Now, let's actually go into another part here, and I've already scaled ODW Optimus, multiple times here. He gets the Autoverse, so you can watch some of my older Transformers power scaling just to kind of get a whole, grip to it in general. But let's actually talk about this here. How does Deathbattle actually treat Transformers? And I would actually say it's poorly, to be honest here. Now again, I understand not every character is going to have their day under the sun here, but again, putting the sheer fact that for some reason they put battles that are easily in one character's favor, but give it to the character that literally has no chance. Again, we saw Omni-Man versus Bardock, right? The sheer fact that Omni-Man legit had no chance against Bardock, but yet they kept trying to upscale anything Omni-Man had here. Oh, well, since Viltrumites, are able to basically be invincible to everything, then he would scale to the Sun Disk, which is able to block out the sun. What makes Omni-Man scale to that? They can't even go into stars without tearing themselves apart. Can't even go into black holes without dying. The heck did you think Super Saiyan Bardock was losing to that? Like, dog, come on now. And then the funny part is, right, you have Megatron versus Frieza, where they said things like, oh, well, his fusion cannon is slow because it has a recharge time, or it takes its time to charge up and stuff like that. Then they had, Frieza just had every advantage, including speed. Then they stated that, well, in terms of the cosmology, the Transformers one is very inconsistent. It's just it's actually pretty funny. Then with Unicron, they don't really talk about the people he fought, and then they kind of just say that he had no experience fighting against someone of his own size, which again was a blatant lie on so many levels here. Then there was Galvatron versus Silver Surfer, which, believe it or not, actually made me angry the more I watched it here. And you might ask, why is that, right? Well, it's pretty simple here. You see, this was a debate format, or a debate between Liam, who represented Galvatron, and Josh, who represented Silver Surfer. You see, the entire thing was pretty much Liam, I guess you could say in a way, cooking Josh in this friendly debate format here. Again, there was no, hard feelings and stuff like that there. But again, a debate is a debate nevertheless, right? So, with that being said here, you have the sheer fact that Josh could not defend any of his points here against Liam here. And yet Liam kept countering him over and over and over again. And then Wiz, who was supposed to be, a judge or something like that there, legit stated that, well, I'm not convinced by the evidence in front of me. It's like, dude, you're supposed to judge on the person's evidence and debating skill. Well, I'm not convinced by the evidence. Why? What has Josh shown for Silver Surfer, So obviously we know that if this death battle even does come through light, it's not gonna end well for Optimus Prime. I can see them saying that Superman had just about every stat maxed out and that he would just overwhelm Superman, and then Optimus would have no choice but to resort to the Matrix. But then they're going to say something like, oh, well, the Matrix actually doesn't work on anybody that's not Cybertronian, when again, that is not how it works. It is literally the concept of order, literally a piece of Primus's true form essence himself here. And then the sheer fact that we have, Optimus Prime beating the Elder Gods themselves, as you can scale that above Dungeons and Dragons. You could scale that above the Ninja Turtles cosmology. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot who we're talking about here. It's Deathbattle. They're not going to do that kind of research. They're not. Even if, you drop it in their Discord, they're not going to include it in the video. Not to understand if things were already made, but if there's a delay, there's a time to change it. There's a time to redo what's needed here. If you don't know anything about a character, and yet someone who probably does have the proper research for it, I would suggest you take their advice. Don't you think? So, without further ado, how do I think this is going to go? Again, like I said earlier, they're going to give it to Superman. And I wouldn't be mad about it. Because, again, Optimus Prime versus Superman is a very good battle. I think it's very close. I just give it to Optimus because I think he can overwhelm Superman when it comes to actual just like raw power, and sometimes in some cases without the Matrix here. But overall, at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to do our other glorious GOAT pretty much any justice at all here. But hey, that is going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Oh, and be on the lookout for my next video, as I will be talking about Dragon Armor Optimus Prime from the Beast Hunters alternate timeline, or the true timeline Beast Hunters versus White Fatalis. Peace.